talking some CSG real quick. And thanks to everyone who watched my first video that I put out a couple weeks ago. Start to ramp the channel up a little bit more in the next couple weeks, and we'll get on with some market analysis. Definitely be working in market movers, things like that. What I wanted to talk about was CSG and Target. Again, sidestep. Thank you for all the people who watched, subbed. Much appreciated. 5 subs out of one video. I was shocked. People love cards though, right? So I don't know if any of you have tried CSG. I never would have considered it. Maybe thinking about it. I think a lot of you, if you're watching this, you're probably already familiar with the price increase. And that kicks in on April 28th. But you do have until May 28th to get the order in. I've never put an order in through them. And by the order in, meaning it has to be physically at their location. April 28th, you have to have the information inputted in their system. I don't know how all of that works. I've never tried. What I was doing was I was just poking around with it today for fun. It looks like there's a membership, right? Like PSA. Associate, you get direct privileges, you get a $15 voucher. Premium, it looks like if you are going to be submitting a lot of cards, 10 or 15, whatever the number works out to be, of course, depending on your price service level, you get $150 credit with CSG. It says that credit excludes shipping and handling if you click on that there. The elite membership tier, I don't know. Premium probably looks like the best one if you're just starting out. Or I don't know. It's the carousel, right? PSA did what they did over a month ago. SGC then got body slammed. Because after that happened, I had a bunch of cards, even though I'd said some like SGC, never again. I'm just going to stick with PSA. And then after what happened, I was like, okay, maybe I'll think about it, right? It's because I had like a 13, 14 card order that I was thinking about sending in. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go with SGC. And I believe I talked about this in my last video. I had it all queued up. And I was communicating with one individual in their customer service department. I was just trying to get some questions answered about the card. It was a sticker rookie. Before I could get my questions answered, like I said, I had already had the thing inputted in the system. It was ready to go. I hadn't paid yet. But I was just trying to verify if they did that particular card or sticker, if they graded it, because when I was communicating with them, they were saying, oh, I don't know. There might be some fees for custom sizing for their cases. So I was trying to understand what I was getting into. And then before I could get my final answer and hit pay, then the price increase just dropped like that. What can you do though, right? I was on the cusp. I was on the precipice. I was probably the closest to where you could say, damn, missed it by that much. So with CSG, here was the old pricing structure, or what's valid through the 28th. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about was, are you considering this? Are you trying to do something the past couple weeks or the past week since they announced the price announcement? Are you doing something? Since SGC and PSA have done their thing, have you started to look at other companies? Is it a sacrifice, I guess I'm saying, that carousel, like where you're jumping from company to company to company? HGA obviously has their caps. BGS, whatever's going on there. Are you seriously considering doing things that you would have never thought of before? If you're not a CSG guy or gal, a gem guy or gal, these second tier, third tier companies, are you really thinking about going with them? This is the current pricing. Economy, $15. You're looking at a 75-day turnaround. That's for anything under $500. Bulk, you see $8. New pricing, they've got you up to $20 on economy, $12 on bulk. So just talking about those price tiers, not too bad, right? But the main reason of talking about this just for a couple minutes was I just wanted to hear from you guys. I've seen some people putting videos out on it in terms of pricing. I don't think I can go there. I might just put in an order by the 28th just to put it in the system. And if I decide in that next few weeks not to send it in, then no loss. But I don't know. I can't do it. Because having a bad experience with SGC after having tried them last year, I was like, that's it. I'm only going PSA. And I've got over 650-ish cards over there right now that I'll be seeing sometime next year. But I just... Even to go back to SGC was like twisting my arm behind my back, so I don't know how you guys feel about it. And I'm talking about the people that haven't tried them already. If you've tried them or Gem and you like them, then obviously you're like, well, if you, they're better, right? Which is cool. For those of you who haven't tried it, are you considering making the leap? Let's talk about Target real quick. Now, Target specifically, I don't know if Walmart is doing the same kind of thing, but for the past 3 weeks, as you know, and I'm shooting this on Friday night, the video might be out a day or two later. This week, this Friday, and then the past 2, as you know, they went to a limit of 3 per customer, but it didn't seem like they were really checking closely. So the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in line could come in, grab 3 ETBs, a Pokemon, 3 Select, 3 Prism, 3 Dawn Rust Blasters, like 3 of every SKU. And it didn't seem like there was any deterrent, but the rules are what the rules are. So I'm not going to hate necessarily on a flipper. They're out there putting in the work. Maybe I don't like it because I have to pay $65 for a Dawn Rust or Hoops Blaster. But it is what it is because they're out there putting in the work. And I think depending on what side of the fence you're on, you obviously would have a strong opinion about that. If you have to pay secondary market prices, you're probably like me, you're like, it sucks, but I get it. They're out there earning it. If you're a flipper, obviously you're like, yeah, baby, I put in the work, I'm getting that money. So it's understood. It's the game. It is what it is. Now, today, I rolled up to Target, and again, remember, I'm shooting this Friday. You'll probably see this video a day or two later when I post it, or even after that. But I roll up to the Target. I see 2 lines. 2 lines. So I went to the line where I thought that it should be and started chatting up with some of the dudes there. Everybody was cool. So shout out to all of you in HB, if any of you see this video. And I was talking to them, and I just went straight to the back of the line. Because regardless of what the line was, I knew I was here last. And I went there at 7 o'clock. And it seemed like there were maybe about, I want to say about 25-ish people in line already. Some people had chairs and blankets and were all laid out. Fortunately, where I live, it doesn't get that cold at night, especially during this time of year. I was talking to people, and they had pointed out something about the new change that I wasn't even aware of that was on the door. As you'll see here, I'll put the video up showing that. At some point during 1 item per. People sign it. So look here, you see the sign. I didn't have time to wait for the security guy to check in because I thought they were doing check-in for the digital queue, which they do at my location. I thought they started that at 7, but I had to cut out and be somewhere by about 7:30, 7:40, and then I could come back at 8 o'clock. So I wasn't able to put my name in the queue, which was fine, whatever. I was so far down the list, I wasn't going to get anything good anyway. But I was talking to everybody, and they were mentioning the 1 item per. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Everybody seemed to be pretty cool with it. But keep in mind, these are individuals that are more towards the back of the line. Where one of the guys, actually, he got there at 6. And I heard him last week. He was there at 6 also, and he was like number 13 in line, which isn't too bad. He still managed to get his hands on a couple Pokemon ETBs. I have a few. I haven't opened them. I'll be doing that on the channel down the road. I've got some other stuff to open up first. But I was talking to them, and it worked good for them because there's now a possibility that you can get and to come in at 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock even, where you can possibly get your hands on a Select booster or hanger, where you can get your hands on a Prism hanger or blaster. The possibility is there. On the note, though, they also say no lining up overnight. So I'll be curious to see if they enforce that. Because my feeling was, why would Target go out of their way or have to go out of their way devoting extra resources to enforcing these kind of rules? I don't think they will. It's probably an honor system kind of thing. But what I wanted to do, just like the CSG thing, was talk to you guys. Like, what do you think about this? Obviously, it depends on what side of the fence you're on. If you're a flipper, I can imagine you are sitting there right now. You're trying to think like, 1 item. That's 1 item. I was talking to the security a little bit later at a different Target, and it's 1 item. Not one of each SKU. 1 item per day per person. So the flippers are out there shitting right now. Individuals who make content for their channels, I watched a couple of them talking about this Target thing earlier, and it's the same thing with them. Are they done? Are those individuals going to see their content and their subscriber base dry up in a way because they're not able to open up 2 hangers, 3 hangers, a Prism? That's a question for them, right? But my thought on a lot of people, more so just the ones that are strictly flippers, not the guys where you see that do some flipping, to pay for the habit hobby. Those individuals, I would imagine they're at home right now thinking, okay, it's one item. How can I figure out a way around this? How many kids do I have? How many cousins? How many uncles do I have that I can bring along first thing in the morning? Those individuals are creative. They'll be plotting some way to come up with something. I was talking to people and throughout the day, and in Target I was in 2 today at various points in time. I'll have a video up about that a little bit later next week, just talking about different times and kind of what you see on the shelves or what I see on the shelves at those times. But I was talking to a couple girls. They came in. They were looking for Pokemon. There were a lot of packs on the shelves, and this was at 5 o'clock in the evening. There was a lot of Pokemon on the shelves. So I was pointing out the new rules to them, saying, hey, it might be good for you ladies. Maybe you come in at 8 o'clock now. First thing in the morning. If you're really looking for stuff, you don't even have to wait in line anymore. I was talking to some other individuals. I went to a different Target at about 8:30, kind of like right before they closed. They closed at 9. I was curious to see if they had anything. They had some Donruss hangers there. They're trash, I know. I picked up 3 of them. And I'll open those up on the channel. It's junk, Donruss, unbranded. But those guys I was talking to seemed like they were pretty good with it as well. But that's the difference, right? They come straggling into Target at 8:30 at night. And just like the girls, they come around at 5. There were some other individuals in that Target that came around at 5. And I was talking to them about it. And they seemed good with it too. So my curiosity is for you guys now. For you guys, and here's what I'm thinking. Flippers pissed. People that were waiting in line to get the good stuff, maybe now they're pissed because they're only going to get one. What does this do to the secondary market? Is demand still going to outpace supply? Or is it going to be somebody like me who gets my hands on a Donruss basketball blaster or Optic, or maybe I luck out and get Prism now where I don't have to look to the secondary market? So how is supply and demand going to balance out? Flippers do feed the secondary market. Are individuals who would be going to the secondary market like me now able to get their hands on stuff to where prices drop because the demand isn't there anymore? Or is it going to be a situation where the supply dries up because the flippers aren't getting it anymore and the prices start to rise? That's one thing I was thinking about. Another thing I was wondering was for you guys, how do you feel about it? It's definitely going to spread out the number of individuals who get their hands on stuff. So what do you feel about it? Like if you were sitting out there before, and this is the other side I thought about, was if you were somebody out there before sitting out there saying, man, I can never get my hands on anything. I'm not going to even mess with it. Well, now you know. People can only have one. One. So now you know, even if you show up at 8 o'clock, maybe you don't get that Prism. Maybe you don't get that Select Blaster. But maybe you get a cello pack. Is that worth just walking into Target at 8 o'clock? Maybe. Maybe it's on your way to work and you can get in there. Obviously, it depends on how long the queue is and everything. And maybe you can swing by and possibly get a hanger of Prism or a blaster of Donruss or a cello of Hoops or whatever's on the shelf. Now, are you of that mindset of like, hey, I wasn't even in the game before, but now I feel like there's hope. So those are just a couple things I'm thinking about. But I'd be curious to hear from some of you guys out there what your approach is or what you're kind of thinking about. For me, I'll swing by there at 8 o'clock next Friday and see what's going on. Shoot some footage. The missus will be with me this time, so maybe we'll get lucky and maybe we'll each get our hands on a Donruss blaster. I don't expect any Prism or Select because by the time we go, we're going to be way down in the 20s in terms of how the line is. Thanks for watching, everybody. And as I said, thanks to everybody who watched the previous video and all the support. Take care, everybody. And that's just Target. Like I said, I don't know how Walmart's going to be, if they're going to go to the same kind of model. But there's hope. There's hope for you guys. Take care, everyone.